Welcome to this week's UK Makers podcast, episode 4. I'm James.
I'm Rosie.
And I'm Matt.
Another week. It's been another week. It's exciting. Rosie's phone has already gone off, or probably eBay, but it's fine. We'll push on for it. We'll push on. We're very professional. We're very professional. It's been a busy week for all of us. Matt, Rosie, what's the crack? Rosie, what have you bought this week? Tell us more.
Oh, a lot of stuff, and I shouldn't have. It's the other day you posted on your stories about a mini bench grinder in Aldi. So I went to my local Aldi. There was no mini bench grinders, but there was an angle grinder for $9.99. So I bought it, even though I've got one. I thought, if I'm going to get an angle grinder for $9.99, I'm going to buy it.
Just to translate those of our international listeners, that is £9 and 99 pence. Sorry, Rosie.
Bit fucking rude, but whatever.
It just sounded a bit German, you know. 999. So, is it a
I'm
ferret?
just getting up my eBay actually.
Yeah.
See what I've bought.
You know what pisses me off, right? I really wanted, I don't need one, but Lidl released this was I don't know, about a year ago now, and it was a Parkside plasma cutter. And I think they were like 70 quid. And the whole fucking UK on all the fabrication forums went nuts. And there was people who've bought like 10 of these fucking things. And they hoard them, right? And then when you go onto eBay and think, oh, you know, someone might have bought one and then, you know, they didn't like it or they didn't want to use it. These people go round and if I did it first, then it would have been fine and I would have felt great. But they went around and they buy them all and then they stick them on eBay and then they sell them for like 200 quid. And people buy them. You know, people buy them because they think, oh shit, I really need that. You know. And this is the effect when you go into Aldi or you go into Lidl, you're walking around these places and you think, oh, dentist tool set. Fuck, I need that. I always thought of myself as being a dentist. Let's buy it. You know. How do they do it?
Well, you say that, but I remember an episode or two ago when you mentioned about some tweezers or something you'd bought, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm desperate to try and get hold of some surgical like crimps.
Yeah, but they're good.
Because when you drop something inside a machine or whatever,
yeah, you
want the thing that you can reach in and grab it, and yeah. So
they were not bought from Aldi, let me tell you, or Lidl.
No.
No, it's a big debate, and I have probably different opinions to some, and you guys would probably have different opinions to others. But a £10 angle grinder to me sounds fucking terrifying, to be honest. Like it's probably got a plastic guard on it, and the cable's made out of like speaker wire found out of an old Fiesta Escort. Some bloody
it was like $25.99 or something before.
Oh, was it?
So
that's all right.
Yeah, it was on sale. But yeah,
the thing with the angle grinder, like referring back to the previous episode on injuries, the angle grinder that caused that I bought off eBay, and I think it was a Von House.
Oh god, is it orange?
Right, yeah, orange.
That's an Amazon special.
Yeah, so I bought that, but basically. And I'm not going to blame the tool for the damage it caused, because that was all on me. But other people's angle grinders, like Bosch's and that I've used, mine seems to spin a fair lot quicker than theirs did. And even when I got it and I first used it, I was like, this thing's lethal. Which you would have thought I would have engaged brain before I went and hurt myself with it. But, you know... It was the only tool on the spot at the time for hands to do the job. So,
I must admit, years ago, if you looked in my shed, I don't know, probably 6 years ago, I had every colour of power tool manufacturer, and I'm not like bragging. What I mean by that is I'd only buy like cordless tools that were on offer. So I'd have like a DeWalt jigsaw, a Makita drill, a green Bosch Impact. And it was really annoying you know, and you'd need a battery, then that would run out. And then I just went, you know what, one day I'm going to list all my tools. I had like Bosch reciprocating saws, and they were like corded tools at the time. And this is when I was living on the boat. So if I was outside doing work on the boat or on top of it, and like with a cable, like, you know, rocking on top of a boat with like a massive Bosch drill or something, drilling a hole saw in the roof, like putting a vent on or something like that, I just decided this is really, really dumb. Because if you fall off and you've got something in your hand, you just naturally like grab as hard as you can so you don't drop it, don't you? So I thought that was a really bad idea to be working on a boat, falling off into the water, and then electrocute myself and fishies and dying and electrolysis and all this type of thing. So I thought it was just a bad idea. So I sold...
Nickel plate yourself.
Say again.
Nickel plate yourself.
Yeah, something like that. With turds, because canal water is horrific.
Duck shit.
You know the fish out of The Simpsons that got 3 eyes in it? That's what that fish comes from, is the UK inland waterways, because it's horrific.
Yeah.
And if you ever need a shopping trolley, go down to your local canal, because that fucked up my propeller many a times.
Or a stolen bike,
Stolen
scooters.
Bike. Yeah.
Maybe a dead body.
Have you ever magnet fished?
Not yet.
No.
Love it. It is the most thrilling, disappointing shit you've ever done.
I think you've got something heavy on the end of it. What is it? And it's like some shit.
Look at my hand. It's Tutankhamun. You know, something like this. You know, you're thinking, I'm going to be a millionaire. A millionaire. Amazing. Absolutely fun. No, it's a rusted Dulux paint tin that someone's chucked in the side of the cut. You know, and it's full of mud and turd and dead fish. Yeah, it's... I don't know what we were talking about. Where I've gone angle grinders and power tools.
Tangent number 1, yeah.
Rock a really good start here. And I called a power tools, having a bit of a nightmare, and I decided to go all cordless. And all my mates at the time, they were working within that, you know, my circle and power tools and tradespeople, we're all using Makita. And kind of wherever you go, different regions are like different power tools, like DeWalt, and then you get like people who are Milwaukee. Electricians seem to be all Milwaukee. Carpenters and like general fitters seem to be all like Makita. And I didn't realise, because I'm not a tradesperson, I'm not a chippy, I'm not a plasterer, a lagger, or anything like that. But it causes like full-on fights almost with people, like who's got the better tools? Is it Milwaukee? Is it DeWalt? Is it Makita? And for me, it's simple. It's Makita. You know, so you know problems. Oh, we're gonna divide a nation. We are going to divide a nation. But no, the main reason why I'm bringing this up is because I really hate power tool manufacturers. Because if you buy a cordless tool, and you know, I do different hobbies, so I want like an air inflator for my little dinghy, or I want something like, you know, a nail gun that's not £500. Then you have to buy adapters, and then you have to buy different companies. And then if there's an offer on something and you need a new drill, or you want the fancy router, you've got to spend like a fucking fortune because the batteries. You know, why isn't there is a alliance thing that's happening with like Metabo and Fane and these type of people. But I think that there should be banned, you know, to have one battery, you know, for everything. Is that daft?
Yeah.
Like a universal battery.
Agree with that, yeah. What's annoying is like when you go to Aldi and you see these really cheap like power tools. Yeah, that's really cheap, and then you're like, does not include battery or charger, so you have to go and fucking buy batteries.
I got stung with the lawnmower with that one, yeah.
Like, why can't you just sell the fucking thing with a battery and a fucking charger?
I get both sides. I really do. Having said that, you are absolutely right, because one of my favourite drills is the Parkside drill. and like the chuck comes off at the front, and it's made like into a little shite impact. It's not an impact, but it's like just a driver. That's pretty good. What a great idea! You know, what a great idea. But you are right. It's very annoying, and whenever I go in there, you know, get a rack of bread, you know, a pint of milk, something like that, I come out with a cordless strimmer that I haven't got a battery for. You know, what's that about?
Pretty much.
You know, it's middle of winter. Why the fuck are they selling strimmers? You know, what are you doing? Should be banned. That's why my missus has banned me from going shopping now. You know, you're not allowed to go anymore because you come back with just crap, an inflatable dinghy.
And more croissants than what I ordered you to get.
Love a croissant. Yeah, blokes should not be allowed to go shopping. It's just, you know, I shouldn't say blokes, but, you know, makery people. Sorry, Rosie. No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why have you bought 16 rolls of duct tape? Well, I'm stocking up. You know, I don't plan on dying tomorrow.
They were only 50 fucking pence,
Yeah.
that's why.
You know, why are you looking at me like
I might need them.
Exactly.
There might be a time where I kill somebody and I need lots of duct tape.
Exactly.
To duct tape them to fuck and get them, like, to the bottom of the canal or something with all the rusty trolleys.
Exactly. Why did you buy them? Because, you know, why did you buy Spam? You know, or
some
carrot.
mystery fucking pig meat.
Exactly.
In a can.
Oh, but it's amazing.
This isn't the fucking war. Anyway.
A busy week.
I like Spam, actually. Spam with bacon or the black pepper one. Fantastic.
For fuck's sake. We are 11 minutes into this episode, and thank you for the single person who is still listening out.
Just keeping a track. That
It's
was
my mum.
tangents 2 and 3.
Jesus.
My number one fan is my mum. She's the only one listening to this, guys.
I think that's a kind of a good topic. Like, and probably all of us here, we're not like the typical people of our age that, I'm not saying typical, there's nothing wrong with this and there's nothing right with this, and it's just a statement that's probably going to offend somebody, and I'm sorry. What age did you know that you didn't want to play football and drink, you know, Strongbow in a park, you know, or, you know, do the normal type, get into golf, or, I don't know, play FIFA 2029 or whatever? Is that a thing? Or play sex box? Don't get me wrong, I did, but, you know, Rosie, how did you say, you know, I don't want my Bratz dolls anymore?
I think we've covered this. I never played with Bratz. I played with Action Men. I used to wear football strips up to the park.
Fuck's sake.
And play football with all the boys and skin them all, eh?
There will be no episode 5, or at least not with myself. In future episodes, it will be Rosie and Matt. No, but I mean, what was your first kind of? I don't know. I had like a petrol scooter that was banned in everywhere that we'd go, and I like playing with that, and I like playing with Action Force. So my family was kind of very messed up, and it had, you know, different, like lots of different ages of people, and everything was like handed down. So we were playing with like the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figurines, and like biker mice from Mars and sharks. So we were playing with like a lot of the I'm a 90s kid, you know, noughties, 90s kid. So I was playing with things like that were from the 80s. So the original Ghostbusters, Action Force, and, you know, that kind of era of stuff.
WWF, it would have been back then?
It was really expensive. Like WWF was like fucking expensive. So we always had like, if you want new toys, go to that car boot. And it was going to like the new car boots for me as a kid was like, fucking hell, this is amazing. Toys R Us was weird to me, you know, because it was like, why is everything in a box? It's fucking weird, this.
It's funny, I can relate sort of. So my first sort of proper love in life was music.
Yeah.
And yeah, as a kid, we used to go to the charity shop, and because we didn't have a CD player until I was, oh God, 10, 11.
Yeah.
So it was all tape deck or LP. So, and I grew up on like Led Zeppelin, Santana, Pink Floyd, all that sort of stuff from my parents' sort of LP collection. So our sort of hobby, like my sort of first hobby, was going to charity shops and buying LPs and bringing them home and putting them on. And some of them were utterly crap. I'd only buy them for the album covers.
Yeah.
It was literally all I knew what to do. Was it looks pretty, I'll buy it. And then you put it on and you're like, what the
I did exactly the same thing.
I can relate.
With an Elton John album, right? Amazing artwork. I'll have to try and find a picture of it. But when I first saw it, I was like, wow, I don't know what it is, but it looks incredible. And I was like going around telling my mates, have you seen Elton John? Like, amazing. What a great band. Love Elton John. You know, incredible.
My dad used to drag me to charity shops all the time. Saturday mornings, he'd just, right, Rosie, we're going into town. We'd park about 3 miles away from the town centre, even though we live 3 miles away from the town centre. And because my dad didn't like paying for parking or parking even remotely close to it. And it's because he's English, I think. But I used to just drag me around all the charity shops, and if there was Jai B Sports, I would want to go into it, and he'd be like, "No, we're going to the charity shops first. We'll do that first, and then we'll go to Jai B." And then he'd go for this was when you could drink and drive, so he'd go for a pint or something, and Weatherspoons or what's it, the wheat sheaf that he likes in Falkirk, and I'd have to stand outside. He'd drag me along, so I never enjoyed myself because I was so young. I couldn't go off myself, but I had to stand outside the pub while he had a pint, drag me around all the charity shops before I can go look at the football strips and football boots in JJB Sports that we couldn't afford anyway. So it's
I get that.
Good times.
Because my grandparents brought me up, and obviously different generation, lived through rationing and all this type of thing. So, my granddad saved every nut, every bolt. We were getting rid of a bit of furniture, which was an absolute rarity. We've still got most of the furniture now, kind of thing. It's at the house that we had as kids. But it'd be like pulling nails out of everything. If there was a pallet or something, he'd take the nails out. But you're not throwing them out. No. You keep them. They go in the bucket. The bucket.
It's a good nail, that is.
It was like this. It was huge. It was massive. But if you ever need anything, it's in there.
This is true. So the project I've been working on more recently, this micrometer project, I've inherited, you get those sort of small tray wall rack little metal enclosures with the plastic pull-out drawers in them.
Yeah.
And there's 60 or something little drawers. I inherited one of those off my grandfather when he died, and there's all these weird and wonderful bits of just fittings, nuts, bolts, as you said, nuts, bolts, washers, all random sizes, all sorts of broken drill bits, stuff like that. But every time, literally almost every time, with this project more recently, that I've needed a nut or a bolt, I found the one of the right size, the right length. Yeah, similar to that. Right size, right length, perfect for the job.
For £1 at a car boot sale, because I didn't have enough of shit. Nuts and bolts that I don't actually need. Whatever. Carry on.
That's all right. No, this is as a question, Rosie. Have you? Do you know when you're going to be upgrading the size of your workshop?
Actually, Gareth messaged me today. He says that he's cleaned one of his sheds, and his missus is going to inspect it or something, and then he's going to empty one for me. But it's just the fact that I need to go hire a van, dismantle it. I need to find people to help me dismantle it and build it in my own garden.
If I wasn't all the way down in not so sunny southwest, I'd offer to help. But it's about a 4 or 5 hour drive to get up to you.
And the rest.
You can come up on the train or something like that. Just give me a hand and then fuck off again.
There is a charity where I used to live. Well, used to moor up, and it's just on the outskirts of Selby in North Yorkshire, like near York. And
my auntie used to live there.
Yeah, that's
in Selby.
Yeah, the fuckers from Selby, because they say we're from York. You're not. You're nearer Goole than you are York. Just saying. No offence to your auntie, but I used to live in Goole. And it was like,
I just remember my auntie's from Edinburgh, though.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
She moved there.
But anyway, there's a really nice little kind of community project that is around that kind of neck of the woods, and they take anything from like the refrigerated Arctic lorries. They take those when they're no longer allowed to be in service, and then they convert them into workspaces and workshops. And they're not a lot of money. Like I want to say 20-foot container size. They'll drop them off to you, and they're probably about 1,200 quid, and you can select and build them. I'll have to try and find them, but it's something like repurpose make spaces or something like that. And again, they put proper UPVC doors in it. They'll put a ring main in it, and they'll put a little RCD box in it, and a few little plug sockets around that. They're really light. You don't need planning permission, I think, depending on where you are in the world. And you can plonk them down, fully insulated, semi-secure, and just put some flagstone down. And
I think if they sit on breeze blocks, it means that they're a temporary structure, so therefore you don't need planning permission for them.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, they're kind of being reused, which I really like that idea.
That's really cool. I don't have the money, but really cool.
Yeah.
Might start a GoFundMe.
I will not be paying into that. You've got a living room, haven't you? What do you want a fucking living room for? Just put your lathe in there or something. It'll be fine.
Well, that's the thing. But the topic that we were meant to talk about today, my living room used to be my workshop.
Yeah.
It's still like some of it you can't see, but like where my laptop is on my desk, I've got a bookshelf, and then the space between the end of that bookshelf and the wall, that's just got a line of boxes with tools in that I haven't managed to squeeze into my shed yet.
Cool.
So there's a toolbox, there's a tool bag, there's one of those 10-kilo bags of like rags that you can buy.
Nice.
Online. Yeah, I've got that because I can't fit it in my shed. So
how big's the shed you're going to get off, Gareth?
I think he said it was like either 8 by 10 or 10 by 10, I can't remember, but big enough.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's bigger than my 6 by 6 currently. Yeah. So I'll take all the space I can get.
Yeah.
Space is the most expensive thing to buy. You can buy the nicest tools in the world. This is what I found, is I was buying like really nice meteorology equipment, like slip gauges, and I was like chucking them into fucking, filing cabinets for storage, and they were getting rusty, and it took me a long time to realize that actually finding a good place to put stuff and not chuck it in a filing cabinet and like plastic shitey boxes from Poundland and toolboxes. Yeah. But it is a lot of money.
I think, that's a key thing to like, especially this being the forum to discuss it, with like the whole UK Makers podcast, is space in the UK is a premium. I was quite excited to hear that in Bristol, tying back in with what you were saying earlier, Bristol's trying to get a maker space, or it's got a maker space that's set up. So you can go in there, there's somebody like a wardeny sort of person who knows how to use like welding equipment or the milling machine or whatever. You can go there, you can join it as a club, and then you can go there, make whatever you want, as long as you tidy up after yourself, like community-led thing. And I think they're brilliant. I mean, apparently over in the States, from what I understand from watching like Tested, like Adam Savage's Tested, and a few of the sort of makery things from the States, they've got loads of them over there.
Australia, it's amazing. I think they're called men's sheds out there.
All right.
But yeah, it's brilliant. Really, like, I've been to a few of them now, And I've actually met people on there who's on Instagram as well, who make some amazing stuff. But yeah, I don't know what it is. Just in the UK, it's not sexy, or people don't want to invest in it. I don't know.
I find it peculiar. Like there seems to be over in the States specifically, there seems to be this very much like, if there's something you want to do and you want to make, you can make it.
Yeah.
I mean, the steel is massively subsidised, so it's reasonably affordable out there. Their wood. I mean, they were complaining about how expensive their wood was during the COVID pandemic, and then when I was converting the prices, I was like, "That's what we pay normally."
Here we go. Yeah.
And so they just seem way more geared up for making stuff out there than what we are over here now. And I say that because I think after the war, maybe up until before, not getting political, but I think there was a definite shift at the end of the 70s, beginning of the 80s, where working in a factory was frowned upon. Working in industry was frowned upon, and it wasn't. Everybody wanted to work in an office, and I think there might have been political things that made that the case, so that working in the office was what everyone in the UK was going to do.
Spy.
No one was going to be, a blue collar worker anymore. It was all going to be,
Was that
work.
not like around the time where like foundries and ironworks got shut down anyway?
Yeah.
So, like,
it's because
redundancy.
all the big office, like you could own a company in the UK, but all of the bits that get made would be made abroad and shipped in because it was cheaper doing it that than paying like UK workforce.
Yep.
To make it, and so that's what killed like industry, I believe. I mean, I know there's with these sort of things there's multitudes of factors, but I think that's what killed a lot of manufacturing in the UK. And I think it's one of those things like where you stand on the whole Brexit thing. I'm hoping the one good thing that could potentially come out of Brexit is that the UK starts putting more money into industry.
I think we're seeing those changes, definitely. I mean, I bought a Makita cordless sander the other day, and on the side of it, made in the UK. Made in the UK. A power tool made in the UK. Fucking hell, the only other one.
Makita. Is that not like Japanese?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's got...
Made in the UK.
Made in the UK. Okay, cool. I was like... Yeah.
Maybe we're becoming the new Taiwan and Japan and China, that people are going to make up.
Well, like us. Brexit, all the people, we're going to be a third world country. We're going to have Band-Aid for us soon. The Africans have a Band-Aid for the UK.
I mean, charity starts at home.
Oh, it's all doom and gloom. It's all doom and gloom. Absolutely.
Instead of children in need.
I feel like I've touched a nerve. I was just mentioning it in passing.
What have you done there?
I've just made this podcast political.
You've started shit.
Fuck's sake.
Anyway, let's go to Scottish independence.
Please go. Oh, shit. Steer the ship somewhere else, Jimmy. Steer the ship somewhere else.
Okay.
No, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, Rosie was working in your living room. I have got a workshop, but I've moved back into my living room because I bought this large sewing machine, which, I'll tell you what, leatherworking, fucking hard.
Yeah.
Really fucking hard. I'm sorry to swear to anybody who's not listening. These people on Instagram, they're incredible. Like, I'm there, I was like, right, here's some leather, here's some thread, here's a great big walk-off sewing machine. I'm going to make a handbag, for the missus. Gee, I could barely...
Just for the shits and giggles.
I could barely make a sheath, I tell you. Fuck.
No, so I had a little... I still want to get into leather work, but it's one of those things where I thought, my missus, she was an avid horse rider at one point, and she had an old pair of horse riding boots that had gone to, they started going mouldy and whatever. I said, well, it's all right, I'll have it, and I'll have them, pick them apart, save the leather, and then I'll make something.
Yeah.
So I ended up making essentially like a pencil case shaped thing for putting all my new acquired leather making equipment in.
Yeah.
So bearing in mind these were already pre-punctured holes, the majority of them, because I was just using the the shape of the bits of the boot that I managed to salvage, and it was really hard work doing the double thread stitching
Saddle stone.
because I was doing it all by hand.
Yeah.
So like pushing it one needle through and then one the other way, it was knackering. Like you could only do your hands would physically ache after. Well, for me being soft-handed southerner or whatever, but
Yeah.
it was like maybe doing maybe 5 or 6 inches of stitching, and my hands were actually aching. And I was like, Jesus.
So I got into leatherworking. I liked the idea of me getting into leatherworking pre 2019 Maker Central. I've got the poster on my wall across the right, and I bought the really janky, bloody shitey kit off Amazon. Thinking that Louis Vuitton has got nothing on me. Fucking, this kit looks great. It's £20 and it's like an 80-piece set. The ones, 80-piece set. Become a leather worker with this £20 80-piece set. You're going to be fantastic. And I make some things. And I did, and the tools were pretty crap. £20 set, 80-piece set, not very good. So when I went to Maker Central, there was a company, and I think there is still a company called Tandy Leather, which is kind of like Snap-on of the leatherworking world. I think they're quite expensive, and they didn't have prices on. I think at Maker Central. So anyway, I was walking around
that's a bad sign.
Yeah. Really I didn't know this at the time. I was thinking Maker Central, it's going to be good. It's going to be, it's free loving, free making share. It's great. It's going to be good. So anyway, I'm picking up this. This is one of the tools that I broke. So I'm going to replace that because I do that quite a lot with buy a cheap socket set, replace the ratchet, all that type of thing. So I thought I'd do the same with leatherworking, use the tools to get you started and then replace the ones that break. Okay. So I did. And I got to the checkout. It's like, it'll be about £380 for about 6 bits of leatherworking tools. And I was like, you know what? I've left my wallet in the car. Yeah. I'll tell you what, I'll be 5 minutes, right? I'll come back. Yeah.
Never go back.
Ooh, fucking hell, no. Unfortunately, after Maker Central, I didn't realise this, but I think they pulled out of the UK market. Or at least they're an American company, I think. It's a long time ago now, before COVID. Those were the days. And it is really expensive to actually get into leatherworking. And I think it's quite a popular hobby. I don't know any leather workers myself personally, but it seems to be one of those
Timpsons.
Yeah. Yeah, they make keys with a needle file. But it's one of those hobbies that looks really easy, and fair play to any leather workers that are genuine leather workers, because it is really hard. And I've got really bad hands. That's another story for something else. But I've got kind of mangled hands. So I have bought, just in case anyone's wondering, it is a turn of the century-ish, don't really know, Singer 29K patcher machine, it's called. So when people used to have boots, and when people didn't used to go to Topshop and Topman and buy a new pair of boots every 2 weeks, when people had proper boots that you would actually wear until holes started forming into them, or when cobblers were cobblers and you put a new sole on it, a bit like Trigger's broom type thing. These machines were designed to punch through really thick kind of military army style boots, as what we'd think of proper boots now, and repair them, and for putting patches on them and for darning. So I have been stitching together, basically punching through 8mm leather, turning your hand, and it's nothing. This thing is an animal, and I'm punching through 8mm leather. Yeah, it is amazing. And they are usually very expensive machines. I got mine kind of seen not working, but was working. And I've played with it and unbent some things. And I've put the right size needles in. And after lots and lots of research, and it's okay. It's
good.
It looks really shit. It's the sort of thing that as you're a kid and you take it home to in my case, my grandma and granddad, and be like, look, I've made a house out of feces I found in the playground, and they're like, wow, that's great.
Yeah, leave it outside. Yeah. Oh, it's raining. Oh
no. Oh no. Yeah. Oh, we need. Oh shit, we forgot kindling for the fire. Oh, I know. Yeah, and it's kind of. I showed my missus it, and she went, "Oh, that's something, isn't it?" Oh, she did exactly the same thing to me as what the grandparents did as a kid. Oh, but it is amazing, and another new hobby that I've kind of fallen back into the.
Well, when I saw your Instagram post on it, I thought it looked like one of the old, like a Singer sewing machine as we would know it.
Yeah.
But with like a Meccano crane arm attached to the top.
It looks like a beam engine. Like it's got a big walking beam on the top, and it weighs about 28 kg. And the bloke very kindly lifted it, and because of my recent stupidity, that's why it's staying in the living room, because I physically can't get it in the workshop. So I've told the missus, I think it looks nice there. People have sewing machines in their lounges, don't they? It'd be all right. Be fine. Looks nice. Vintage.
But as you were saying about like leatherwork being expensive to get into, I mean, just buying leather is stupid expensive. And if
just
then
buy
you're trying
a whole cow.
Well, yeah. If you butcher it, cook it yourself, sell the meat off, you might just break even.
Oh, good.
But,
Be fine.
Unless you wanted to get into weird leather, then you could kill somebody.
You know, when I first started getting into leatherworking, right? Going back to charity shops very, very quickly. When we'd go like out with the missus and I'd take her somewhere nice for the day, somewhere like York, you're in a posh place when there's an Oxfam. Like that is a rich man's charity shop. You know what I mean? You're going down the high street, you see the usual British Art Foundation, lovely, and then you see an Oxfam and you think, fucking hell, this is upmarket round here. Jesus, look at fucking Oxfam there. Size of that.
Just put a zero on all the houses.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's incredible. And if it's an Oxfam furniture, Jesus, Queen shop's there. I tell you. Fucking cheese shop's there. So anyway, I went in very sheepishly, and my missus hates charity shops. She's no, I'm not going into there. They smell funny, which is fine. They smell like me. So I go in and I lean over to the lady behind the counter and whisper, "Excuse me, love. You got any leather skirts in?" I didn't think how weird I sounded, right? But my logic was a leather skirt, nice bit of leather, something to play with. So I leaned over, "Have you got any leather skirts in? All leather goods. Best things, biker jackets. Like the waistcoats. Fuck, that's great leather, that." But then you go into Oxfam, and it's like, "Yeah, that'd be £80, please." Okay, what? It's got New Look badging.
It still smells like dead bloke. What do you mean?
Yeah.
£80.
Exactly. It still got his bloody bus pass in this. You feel awful. So anyway, I bought a few, really embarrassingly, went into these charity shops, bought some women's clothing, and I took it home, and it was like, there's a thing that's like veneered leather. So you can get real leather, but it's stuck on fabric, so it's like thinner than like tissue paper. It looks like leather, it smells like leather, and it is real leather, but it's kind of fake leather, so it feels really thick. I mean, I don't fucking know what I'm doing, do I? I just went in there buying women's clothing. I just want to get in, get my skirts, go to the local corner, and go home and put some stuff up. Bit embarrassing.
Yeah,
Matt,
because when I was having a stab at the whole leatherworking stuff, I ended up buying a huge sheet of canvas because they said because I wanted to make a tool roll.
It's hard,
and I thought I'll do it in canvas instead. And I got the sizes. I don't know why or how, but it was reasonably priced. But I wound up with like this piece of canvas that turned up. It was freaking huge. And I only wanted to make it was like the tool roll and an apron out of it.
Yeah.
I don't actually. I think the canvas got left at our old house because I put it up in the loft and it was just too heavy to get back down. It was ridiculous. Literally, this thing must have been like 40 meters by 15 meters or something. It was absolutely massive. But I got it for a reasonable amount of money, so somebody was clearly just wanting to get a shot of it. But yeah, it's a shame. I could have kept using that, but
I don't know. I've tried, to make a tool roll as well, and I got like pencils to try and change it. And then when you've got, if anyone's ever like tried sewing or leatherworking with a machine, you think you're doing great, and then you look on the other side, and there's just a load of holes.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, it's all.
I hate sewing.
It's made a right fucking mess here. Made a right mess.
Fucking hate sewing.
Yeah.
That's what I find weird about this conversation is like you and Matt, you are both like, yeah, leather work and sewing and stuff. I'm just sat here like, no. The woman that's, about 100 years ago, that's what I would be doing in a factory is sewing and stuff. Nah, no thanks.
See, I've always been a little bit fascinated. Now, I have got awkward hobbies. Like, to work on our relationship with my partner, I can't sit still. Okay, I've got a problem. I can't sit still. I always have to be doing stuff and being creative, and not creative, but just doing something. I'm not an artist, or I can't.
Your brain needs to be thinking something over.
Yeah, so I've always got like a pen and paper. I have my idea books. I've got like 20 of them that I've already filled up, and I just scribble on stuff. I've got Post-it notes coming out my ass with like stupid shite on there. All this type of thing. Step one: rebuild the British Empire. For what? So I'm going to say this in public, and I only share this on Instagram. I've got bad hands, as I mentioned earlier, and I can't watch films. Like I can't sit and watch a film because I'm kind of like, I used to do a bit of shooting, so I know a little bit about guns, and I'm like, that wouldn't happen. He's ran out of ammo, all this type of usual shit. So I have started crocheting to keep my hands moving. And there's another personal reasons to why, but I can sit there now in one place and I can make a scarf, or I can make a blanket, or I can make a hat. That's all I can do. Fairly straightforward things, but it's one of those hobbies that it's quite cheap to start with. You just need a hook, and you need some wool, and you need some patience, and that is it. And you think, I'll just make a blanket. Costs you about 40 quid. For a little blanket because of the wool, and because I've got fat fingers, I can't use small wool, so I have to buy the chunky wool, that's really like fucking expensive. So
I'm enjoying this conversation, but looking at Rosie's face, she's like, "What are we talking about?"
I'm more feminine than Rosie.
That's a fair point. Like I'm a total lad. Like I go play football and stuff like that.
Oh,
yeah.
No.
I drink.
So James,
beer.
what moisturiser do you use?
Oh well,
Nivea for men.
Nivea for fannies. That's what I use. Nivea for fannies.
You use Femme Fresh. How's your tampon? Is it all right?
I use the. Let's not offend people. We don't want to. This can become very.
No, the thing is, I'm with you. Genuine. Similarly to you. I have always got a notepad, pen, or my newly acquired iPad to hand, like next to me, because different reason is my missus likes watching the Australian soaps, which
I fucking hate them.
Like Neighbours.
Oh.
Yeah, Neighbours, Home and Away, religiously, and I don't mind dipping into the odd episode, but like you, I'm like, well, the laws of physics, if they were actually applied, and they hit the water at that speed, they'd be dead.
Exactly.
Stuff like that, and you're like, you just need to. And the same with some films, like some of the far out films. I can't. So I need to think and preoccupy my mind with something that I've been working on, and so the workshop for me, it's a definite release for that. But I mean, yeah, doodling. I mean, same as you. I've got about 7 or 8 books, like they were like sketchbooks, all with my sort of designs on for things I want to make. So I mean, like this micrometer idea I came up with yonks ago, but I've also want to build my own Star Wars related robot that actually works. I want like electronics and stuff in it, and I also have an interest in sort of animatronics. I want to have a go at that. So yeah, it's just so much stuff, and you end up thinking, "Oh, Flight of Fantasy, I want to do this. Oh, I probably need to work out how that bit or how that would work, like wiring wise." So you end up just going on a deep dive on the internet to figure out how you like use LEDs and what voltage they are and how you could wire it up and make it flash and all this sort of thing.
You've been on the other end of me having like mad ideas in the middle of the night, haven't you? Because I'm just like, Matt, you're awake. I've got this fucking amazing idea. Just listen to me. Just this is my
like brain dump.
Yeah,
I remember it was a couple of weeks ago
or something. And I'm just like, Matt, I've got this fantastic idea that we could do for our thing, our collab thing that we're doing, and this, that, and the other, and it's just,
Well, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. It was, you gave me like a full-on brain dump of yours at about 4, so either 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Little man, like my son, had woken me up. I'd fed him, gone back to bed, and my phone, zim, zim, zim. I was like, "What is this?" There was like 8 messages from Rosie. I got this idea. This is how it could work. Oh no, actually, I've changed. No, we can do it that way, and then we'll do it this, and then we can do that. Oh my god! And she's like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, I need a pen and paper. I need to sit down and a strong coffee, and then we might actually be able to come up with a plan on this one.
That's when my mind is most wonderful, is when I can't sleep and I come up with all these fucking fantastic ideas, which evidently I've not even put into practice yet. So
very true.
That's only because you lack the machinery. That's the only thing stopping you.
If if I had my lathe all set up at the time, maybe I've got one thing done by now.
Yeah, machines.
I was going to say to you, James, when's your prime time for creativity, or is it just when the telly's on and you're just like, nah, this is boring?
Probably when I am at a really, really important moment in my job, like sat in front of having a meeting with, some colleagues from head office in Germany, and we're talking very, very serious kind of important, project management and projection and all this type of shit. And I'm there like, fuck me, what we need, double-ended indexing, threading tools. Fuck, that's a great idea. Inside, outside, done. Let's make it. That is what we need. That is exactly what we need.
And then whilst you're sort of just sitting there thinking about it or drawing it, and then your boss goes, "So tell me, James, what do you think about that?" And you're like,
Great idea. What I've learned in doing jobs and working for people, just go with the flow. Fucking, that's what you've got to do. Yes, great idea. Fantastic. Great, we're going to make you redundant. Shit. Fantastic. Shit. Internal, external threading tools already exist. Not indexable, so I bought 2. I do that a lot. Like, I think of holy shit, this is a fucking great idea. Amazing. Like, an indexing, I wanted to do some indexing on my wood lathe, like you would on a metal lathe, because I take a lot of metal lathe stuff over to my wood turning. And I was like, what if you could get something that wedges, in between a back plate and a chuck, right? This was my $1 million idea that's already been done. In between the back plate on a lathe and the chuck body is make basically a sandwich of a big plate that comes round with lots of little holes in it. And then you could index through those different points, do 360 holes, for example, and then you could do fucking everything. So I drew it all up in CAD, got really, really excited, been done. Fucking everywhere. You can buy them on fucking eBay, for like 20 quid. But I got really excited. I'm ringing up factories. Guys, I want to place an order, 500,000 units. I want them tomorrow. Let's get rich, And they've already been done. And I've done that so many times. I get really excited. I go balls deep into something, and it's already been done. But never mind. One day.
Well, it was similarly, again, this micrometer project I'm working on, I was like, I've never seen one like it. It's one of a kind, and it's multi-purpose. Like you could use it as you put it in your back pocket, but it's more accurate than a vernier.
Yeah.
That's what I was sort of aiming for. That was my sort of goal.
It's very cool.
And and then I got chatting to somebody on Instagram who basically every Friday he puts a picture up of a micrometer that he's got in his collection because he collects micrometers.
Jesus.
And it was one called a beam mic from like 1923 or something. I think it was a Brown and Sharp thing. Very similar idea to what I've got. The only difference being is instead of it being like little like indents that a ball bearing locates into on a shaft, it's basically a flat piece of metal with a pin that drops through, and you locate off of a ground pin, which is probably better. And so I was like, knackers.
Do you guys ever think, if I had a time machine, I would go back to like the early 60s or the early 50s, like the good times after the war. We'll push that one side. 50s, everyone was kind of happy. 60s, everyone was peace and love. But there was a lot of like amazing technology coming out there. I was thinking like, God, can you imagine being like the inventor of a CNC machine or like a cordless drill, or just like, fuck me, how amazing must they have felt then? And I get this idea of like, an indexable lathe for wood. It's quite simple, really straightforward. And I'd love to meet some people that have just, I invented that, like tellies or, like the screens or how to make TV so small now. So many clever people out there that are way
I was fortunate enough to have one of those very people in my family. My grandfather was one of the brainchild behind power steering.
Oh, that's cool.
And his first invention was the overseated steering box, which basically means, like lorries, like heavy goods vehicles as you know them now, where you sit above the wheels. Yeah. That was my grandfather's idea.
Well, just to kind of one up you there, my granddad helped invent CT scanners.
That's very cool.
Ooh,
yeah,
that is.
He was an engineer. Now he's got dementia and lives in Florida.
Oh. My granddad put spices in chutney. Yeah.
Excellent.
Used to make a really hot chutney. That's what I did. Yeah, lovely bloke. Right. Beat that, Rosie. Yeah. You still love it.
I remember when we were at school, there was this sort of thing going on, and I remember one kid shouting out, "Yeah, well, my grandfather invented the paper aeroplane." I was like, "That's pretty much the coolest thing you could come out with."
I think, Rosie and Matt and me, that we need to wrap this up because it's 53 minutes balls deep. Mm-hmm. 53 minutes is not a long time when you record a podcast.
No, it really isn't.
I could talk all fucking day.
Oh, no, I know. Terrible.
And night. That's when she messages people with all these great ideas.
You're a proper night owl, aren't you, Rosie?
I don't know, I do like to sleep, but, it's weird because, I'll go to bed late, but then my body will wake me up early, and I'm not a fucking morning person, so whatever.
Yeah.
Sick of it. I'm actually it, so I'm just forever tired.
Yeah, see, I'll be in bed in an hour. I'll be up at 6. It's just.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. I'll be in bed. I'll be in bed, all cuddled up with my dogs, all nice and warm. But I'll just be scrolling on my phone, and then I'll see something and get an idea, and then that's me.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen and fellow makers, we're going to call it a wrap because Rosie's bedtime is coming. and mine. So once again, I will say thank you so much for watching. We have been James, Matt, and Rosie, and this has been the UK Makers Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. Any comments, future topics, or general chit chat, give us a message on our different platforms of either YouTube or Instagram. Hit us all up. The details will be in the description. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Thank you.